There are many games for the NES that never left Japan, and at this time, the game market was exploding in the West, so this might seem like a strange thing. Developers have stated many reasons to why they won't release the games in the West, some being the game was too hard for the Western audience, cultural differences, and even such a thing as licensing problems. Today, we're here to talk about a game that falls into an even stranger category. The word holy in the title was an affront to Nintendo of America's no religious references policy. And so, this fantastic game was never released in the West. My name is Itssbbz, and welcome to a brief story about Holy Diver. It is the 666th year in the world of magic. The Black Slayer Demon King of the Underground Dark Empire has extended the world of darkness and weakened the power of King Crimson, whose wisdom has guided the world of magic for generations. The 16th Crimson Emperor, Ronnie IV, entrusted his two infant sons, Randy and Zack, to his faithful servant Ozzy. The three escaped the forces from another dimension in the hope to bring light back into the world. The next 17 years were difficult, but Randy, Zack, and Ozzy devoted themselves to the cause of holy magic justice. The Black Slayer has further extended his empire over the countryside, and the interdimensional forces were getting even more powerful. Randy needed to find the royal coat of arms of the Crimson to battle the demons. He set out alone to carry out the will of his surrogate father Ozzy, who had passed away. And thus begins the legend of the Holy Magic King's Justice. Holy crap! If you're a metal fan, this whole thing reads out like a love poem. I mean, mentions of Ozzy Osbourne, Zakk Wylde, Randy Rhoads, and I even think I heard Dio being mentioned somewhere in there. I'm all ears. Holy Diver was developed by Irem, a developer most known for some 80s arcade games. Kung Fu Master, for example. Released on the 28th of April 1989 for the Famicom and scheduled for a North American release later the same year. However, that never came to pass. Back then, Nintendo had very strict rules about translating games to the West, and it is speculated that the many religious mentions in this game is the reason why Nintendo decided not to port the game to the West. You control Randy, a capable sorcerer with a limited arsenal that grows as you progress. Starting out, you can move left or right, jump, and shoot a spell that sends a magic projectile forward. Pressing select toggles your current spell, and the start button pauses the game and brings up the spell selection menu. Getting hit sends Randy backwards in an arching motion, so you have to watch out. Your movement is very reminiscent of the original Castlevania and other adventure platformers of that time. The game even has its own version of the Medusa heads. Great, another fucking wavy pattern to have nightmares about. The controls are very responsive, and shooting spells feels natural from the start. After some trial and error, most monsters show their weaknesses in their patterns, and most puzzles are handled with ease as long as you kill whatever enemies are near. But do not let that fool you. This game is still considered a hard game. A very hard game. Holy Diver consists of 6 levels. ranging from jungle levels to Greek mythology looking levels. And the goal is incredibly simple. Get to the end of the level without succumbing to the unfair amounts of enemies in your way. And when you finally reach the end, kill whatever evil is waiting for you. Being a capable sorcerer, Randy has the power of magic at his disposal. As you start the game, you already have Twin Fire, a spell that doubles your attack power and lengthens your fireball's reach until the end of the screen. As you progress through the levels, every boss you kill rewards you with a new spell. For example, the Blizzard spell that you acquire from the first boss, which lets you freeze enemies on screen and alter some areas to progress further. During his journey, Randy also finds items. After defeating certain enemies, they will drop red and blue orbs that will refill Randy's health and mana. And hidden in the different stages are also passive upgrades, such as the jump boots that increase Randy's jumping ability significantly, or the bracelet that gives you the ability to block projectiles with your fireballs. And I left the coolest ability for last. Certain enemies drop a special spell that turns Randy into a frickin' dragon. In this form, Randy shoots fire in front of him and flies all over the screen like a fucking badass. Holy Diver is today considered somewhat of a hidden gem, and since it was never released in the West, not many gamers have tried it. And it must have been far through the process of getting released because it even received a brief write-up in Electronic Gaming Monthly. And I consider this a great shame because this game is excellent. Hard and unfair, but still excellent. Anyways, I'm playing this reproduction card of the game. It's made by RetroMod, and if you want to check out their stuff, there's a link in the description below. So let's get our devil horns in the air and let's try out this love letter to everything metal.